Is it possible for you to mute your mic a little bit?
Okay.
Ocho?
Sorry. Yeah, I can hear
Yeah.
you.
Oh, okay. It's just
Can you hear me now?
yes, I can hear you. I just fear the others may not be able to hear me because there's quite a lot of background noise from your end.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so yeah, the staking mechanism is you stake your planets NFTs, or you can stake an apostle NFT actually, and then you can also, it will be also like a liquidity pool. You also need to stake a certain amount of tokens. It could be any token really. It could be a PRS. It could be a wrapped ETH. It could be a USDC. It could be Avocado tokens, and you stake it in the lottery system. And of course, your chances increase according to the amount of tokens you stake and according to the type of NFTs you stake with it. The more rarity, the higher the chances you will win in this lottery. Once won, the tokens will be burnt, the NFT will be returned to you, and you will get the item, or you will get the rewards. This is
Okay.
the NFT staking token we're going about, and then if you didn't get it, then all the tokens and NFTs will be refunded back to you. On the other end, the normal token staking mechanisms, we will have the typical standard well token stake get token mechanisms, and then that will be coupled with the APRS launch. But also we are trying to go for a different mechanic there, but really want to save that. Originally was going to announce that this week, but with the delay of the token launch, we'll announce it closer to launch because it's quite unique, and we don't really want others to copy our staking models until we do it ourselves. And the current token launch is scheduled in around August or July. It's either before or after our testing. Um, there's different ways with which we can model this, but
Okay.
yeah, that's about it. Thanks, Ocho.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so Farah, you're next.
All right. Well, we can ask Ocho to mute his mic a little bit. He has a
Yeah.
very
Okay.
vibrant and happy family behind him. Yeah.
Yeah, Farah, so you're next. Can you ask a question, please?
Hi, Sarah. Hi, Farah.
Seems like Farah has his mic muted or any issue with her mic or his mic. Yeah, I think let's just proceed to our next caller. I think Rugan. Are you here, Rugan?
Yes.
Yeah, Rugan. Yeah,
Can you
you
hear
are.
me?
Logan.
Yeah, I can hear
Nice
you. We
name.
can hear you.
Okay, great. First of all, good night from here in Philippines.
Yeah.
So my
Oh,
question
hi.
is, as your advocate shifts its focus from play to earn to play and earn, which prioritize the game mechanics, this alone attracts vivid gamers into the game. But how about the novice who started in the GameFi industry? Are there any features that guides them in the early start?
Uh, first and the second part. The first part I got the play to earn and the play and earn, but the last part was a bit too fast. Do you mind clarifying the last part of your question?
Okay. So about the novice who started in the GameFi industry, which is, as we all know, that isn't quite vivid gamers. Like they're not really into mainstream games. But as I can see here in Aperion, it's
Uh
really a
huh.
complicated game, right? So are there
Uh
any
huh.
features that guide them in the early start?
What drives which type of players into the game? You mean the play to earn gamers and the normal gamers, right?
Yes, there. What I'm
Okay.
asking is about how how can you help novice gamers
Novice
in
gamers.
playing
Okay.
this game?
And playing the
Because
game.
as gamers come from GameFi industry are not so into mainstream games. They play like
Oh, oh.
Axie, like puzzle games, but not into like more complicated RPG like Aperion. So my
Oh,
question is, are
well,
there any
don't.
features that guide them in the early start?
Well, of course there will be, but don't sell yourself short. The amount of effort one needs to spend to play Axie is actually already enough for them to spend on many other mid-core or hardcore games. I tried to play Axie in the beginning, and it was a really, really grueling experience. I immediately went into breeding mode and just wailing it out instead of playing the game because it's really, really tough. And if you are a gamer that is willing to invest your time to study Axie and play the Axie in the game, you are ready for a lot of other games. But back to Aperion, how do we onboard a new players that's new to gaming and everything? To be honest, Aperion is a very user-friendly game. The idea of God games may be very complex, and there seems to be so many mechanisms. There's the action element in the esports and everything, but actually, Aperion is a very relaxing game if you want to play it relaxed in a relaxed way. Because the God game simulation, you'll just be on your planets. It's just you and the planets and 4 elements. You can just use the elements on the dudes, tap on the dudes, so slap on the dudes, or it's really up to you. The experience can be very casual in the beginning. The advantage of NFT games is that we are not mobile games. We are not free to play mobile games. We don't have to entice the player with all sorts of effects, gameplay mechanisms right off the start. Most players are very invested in the game already. They already bought into the NFTs. They have to go through the crazy wallet procedures for some, or but in Apron, when you've already invested your time, much like traditional games, you bought a Steam game or console game for 50 to 60 US bucks, you don't mind exploring and learning the game, where the initial tutorial is separated into phases instead of throwing everything at you at once. If we do that, of course, it's hard for new gamers. But at the beginning experience of Apron, you have your planets, you go on, there's a few dudes out there, use your elements, and they will react, and then grow some fruit for them, cast some rain, and they will begin to thrive. The initial process is easy, and you level up. Your dudes will expand. You will level up your Eden, your headquarters structure. That's pretty obvious which structure that is. We will have hints and everything to guide the players to unlock their avatar eventually. Once the avatar is unlocked, every planet has its own dungeons, 20 levels, sort of like a tutorial and a testing grounds for each planet. You will do your initial planets there. It will be very easy as you onboard the players and users. And then each and every step of the game opens up gradually. And then you can participate in the much more hardcore events later on. But how you want to play is entirely up to you. If you want to focus on play to earn, playing by yourself, you can just focus on resetting the planets once a week or finding ways to maximize your profits between each reset. Note it won't be that easy. Every time you reset the planets regenerates into a different set of environments, into a different set of challenges. And the dudes are very duty. They don't do the same thing every time. So they're almost bug-like in nature for their dumbness. And you'll be tested to try new things on them. But it's very interesting dynamics over there. And then uh, and then if you want to go hardcore, go fight in the arenas and everything, or into the endless dungeons, deeper you go, it's very complex. But there are different ways to earn and different ways to play. Even in the alliance gameplays, every player has their role. The casual players can support the main battles, or they can participate in other forms of the battle on a more auxiliary support, while the hardcore gamers take the first step, they take the harder hardcore players. Everyone has their place in Apron, and everyone can earn at their own pace and at their own styles. And so if you are a hardcore player wanting to earn the governance tokens or the mix and merge the best apostle pets, the NFTs that you bring along in combat, then go full hardcore. And that's a really deep gameplay mechanism there. If you want to go more casual, then just by all means reset the planets, take care of the planets, do some simple battles, and reset them weekly. even more casual, if you are socializer chatter, you only have to log in maybe once or twice a day, water the planet like you water plants, touch the dude a little bit, fiddle with them, maybe every 6 hours, and then just go do something else, chat around, play another game, come back, water again, and then one day the giant waterfall, the giant volcano will pop up, and it will be a very enticing NFT that every other player wants. And of course, if you don't even want to play the game, well, then you can just invest in the tokens. You can stake the tokens, stake the NFTs, breed, sell them, rent them. It's all up to you. And yeah. Well, I hope that answers the question, Railgun. I really like your game. Railgun is one of my favorite weapons back in the days in Quake.
Thanks, Ryugan. Are you there, Ryugan?
Yeah. Are you there, Railgun? Oh my god, I think my answers are making people fall
Yeah.
asleep. I have to answer them in a
Yeah.
more short and concise manner.
It's
Oh
okay.
no.
Yeah. Let's welcome our next speaker. Luna. Are you there, Luna? Oh yeah, Luna is here.
Hi, Luna.
Hello, Luna.
I think my voice have the ability to put people to sleep now.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
hi,
Yeah.
Luna.
Hello. Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Um,
Yeah. Good evening.
Hello. My question is, what strategy will you implement to bring non-crypto natives into your ecosystem? How do you keep balance between developing technology and also improving the value of your token? Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Luna. I didn't quite catch improving the value of the token. Let's see. So yeah, in terms of Web 2 adoption, well, if you look at how we face our roadmap and our cap table, really, the investors, only around half of them are crypto natives. Most of the other ones are from esports teams, esports backed gaming guilds, streaming platforms, physical gaming card owners, and toy manufacturers, actually. So, how Aperion is going to approach the traditional gamers, the Web2 gamers, is like this. We'll start out in Web3 with all the gaming guilds forming the early backbone, but in Q1 next year, we're going to have Hash to host our giant esports events. We have partnered with lots of streamers, KOL streamers, esports teams, pro players, who are all streamers, to invest in Aperion and stream Aperion in the professional gameplay events and venues. And we will host giant esports events with the esports teams to promote Aperion as an esports capable game. And then we also will go into physical gaming cards industries, where we devise physical gaming cards to attract the physical gaming card crowds. And with we already have partners over there who've been working with us for a long time. And so with the Web3 gamers, with the esports crowds, with the physical gaming card crowds, we'll sort of pincer on onto the traditional gamers. And Aperion being quite a unique game, you can't find the gaming experience on Web3, on Web2, or anywhere. This card game genre, this playstyle, this esports gaming style is nowhere to be found. And we'll try to get as many as we can with, well, pretty much heavy marketing and tournaments and support and merchandising. And then we will go on to the animations, the series, turning Aperion into a franchise. And we will reach even beyond gamers as the stories of Aperion, which remodels after all creation myths, remodeled after funny dudes and the avatars, and to represent different creation myths from different cultures using a whole new aspect. If you do notice, a lot of creation myths from around town. I actually studied a lot of Southeast Asian mythologies. A lot of them are very weird, and so we try to make sense of it, and make it funny, and to represent it in animation or movies series, to to do that. And yeah, that's the adoption we're trying to drive using franchise, using storytelling, and using branding. And what was the other question? Sorry, Luna, I absolutely forgot already. Luna, are you here?
So,
Yes.
my other question is, how do you keep a balance between developing the technology and also improving the token? Sorry,
Okay.
yeah.
We don't. We will keep up with the latest game graphics, Unity, and technology and everything, but we are not going to focus too much into any like really technical breakthroughs. We think that technical breakthroughs, there are a lot of third-party platforms and technology companies out there trying to break the technology, do the technology breakthroughs for crypto, for adoption, for wallets, for exchange usages. We are going to focus entirely on storytelling, gameplay, and enhancing the game, keeping up with the graphics. The late roadmap of the plan is actually to turn Aperion into a full on-chain game where the content, the expansion and the content is no longer generated by us, but it spans into user-generated content, and the users via full on-chain functions playing the god game simulations can pass from one planet to another, improving the planets and editing the planets according to their whims on a full on-chain model. But of course, these fundamental technologies are still quite far away, if you ask me. But we won't be the ones trying to do that. We'll be the ones focusing on the game itself to continue to enhance the value of the tokens, the graphic quality, and the gameplay mechanisms of the game, while we leave the technology and the others, guys, and the platforms and tools that we have been partnering with all along as well. So yes, in our cap table, in our private round, you'll see a lot of NFT rental solutions, NFT technology platforms, and exchanges and investment funds that are very well connected with all these technologies. So yeah, not trying to compete. We'll do what's best. What's the best practice out there? We'll have our own wallets, our own marketplace, and our own rental solutions. But it's what's being developed out there at the best. We won't try really any technology breakthrough on our end. Hope that answers the question, Luna, and thank you.
Thanks, Luna.
Yeah.
Is it Luna?
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep,
Okay, yeah.
right.
So next question will be from Newell. Newell, are you there?
Uh, yes. Hello, guys.
Hi,
Hi,
Noah.
Newell.
Can you hear me? Oh, hi,
Yeah.
Frank, and hi, Chip. I have a
Yeah.
question. Most successful games have an interesting lore within their game, which is a great way to keep people from playing as they follow the game lore as well. So, can you tell us
Mhm.
something about Apron's lore? Like, is there a story about where did the gods and dudes came from? Where did the gods get their godly powers? Or is there an even greater power beyond these gods?
Yes, and yes. But honestly, the best stories in the game has to be explored by yourself. I can give you an overall concept, but so the entire Godiverse, the universe, is created by three entities. Holy crap! I shouldn't say that. Oh my god! I think I just went on and spoiled a big part of the story. Ignore that. It's created by two entities, Cosmos and Chaos, and that's how the world knows it. And the gods themselves, the players, are new gods, a new generation of gods created by Cosmos. And there's an I don't know how much I should say this before Ben, my story writer, kills me because I don't think these spoilers should be. We actually have Medium articles going to be written regarding the law as we approach game launch. But let me try to approach this question from a bigger perspective. The game law of Aperion revolves around mythology, creation myths from around the world. Southeast Asia, China, Korea, Greek, Southeast, South, what's that? the Latin American myths, Babylon, Greek, Egyptian, Slavic. There's different creation myths from around the world that you will find tidbits around the game map and the story that will evolve around Aperion. And there's also one main story arc revolving around the struggles between Cosmos and Chaos. The Dudes. The mystery of the Dudes is one of the biggest secrets in the Aperion universe. There's a reason for them to come into existence, and the reason why they are also duty. But this reason is pretty much the main story arc that players will have to find out for themselves as they play the game. Really don't want to spoil the story there. But the general approach of the story is typical. There's a fight between good and evil, and you'll be taking part in the war from one side to the other, and then at the end, it's your choice which side you take on. And the main draw and appeal of Aperion is that every player's choices and actions on the planet, how they treat the dudes during gameplay, what choices they make during the stories, and even offline, well, not that offline, but even off game in Discord right now. Our Discord is modeled around the idea of good and evil. There's a duty quest where people play and tally up their actions. We keep track of everything. And these all will affect the direction of the game. Because the two created gods, Chaos and Cosmos, will determine the course of the universe based on the overall good and evil aggregates and choices every player has made in the game. And it will affect how the story evolves and how the expansion packs will be modeled after. And it's quite an interesting social experiment, if you ask me. And yes, that's pretty much all I can say. I have to leave the rest for the writers to come up. A lot of the work is hidden in Aperion behind the stories, behind each and every item or constellation's descriptions. There are tidbits here and there that we will implement, and it's up for the players to find out and piece together these stories. And of course, when we go into franchising and the elements, the movies, the TV series will serve as individual, independent stories, but their lore and everything will be deeply connected back with our games, lores, and universe. I hope that answers your question, Noe. And if you want to read more stories, you can always, read the tidbits of info. There's not a lot out there right now. We want to release more when we're closer to the game launch. But yeah, we will be incorporating story pieces in our Medium articles more often when we get a little closer to the testings and the demos. Oh, I put
All
people to
right.
sleep.
Yeah. So I hope that answered your question, you well. And let's welcome our next speaker, Mongrel. Yeah, Mongrel, you're up.
Hello.
Good
Good evening,
Yeah, we can
Mongrel.
hear you.
I would like to ask if Apron will be going to be associated with Binance later on, or will it strive to be in a Binance launchpad?
Oh, that's a good question, Mongrel. You don't sound like a mongrel at all. We are in talks with Binance, and the Binance Launchpad is we're still discussing with them. But honestly, the Binance Launchpad and the model with which they goes back to the pump, the initial IO pump model, and there are two approaches. One, we're going to do a direct listing on KuCoin on FTX or a small IO over there to get our tokens tradable and accessible to the overall crowds, to the world crowds. And then upon game launch, we will get on Binance. And then, but then we may not go on their launch pad because honestly, I'm still in talks with Binance to take a long time to do diligence. And if we get on their launch pad, we'll have to list on Binance. And if we do that, the token generation event, the IEO, will probably be around the same time as game launch. This would significantly, well, change our roadmap again, and I'm not very keen on that. But we're still talking. The main drawbacks right now we're facing as we talk to Binance and the Launchpad is that they are in they do have some requirements sometimes that may lead us to the volume requirements that requires market making, and I am sometimes I'm not very comfortable with that. But we'll see. We'll see. Binance will always be an ultimate goal. But on that note, we are talking with every department of Binance, and the most interesting department is actually the BNB sidechain. I think their prototype is coming up sometime this month or next, and we do want to get on the BNB sidechain. If it is not the immediate chain we develop onto, it will be the first chain we cross over to. But yeah, the prototype is coming up. I think there's still need some time to take a look at what it's developing and looking like over there. And yeah, Binance is always a midterm or short-term goal for Aperion after the game launch and after the token launch. Will we go on their launchpad? It's a tough decision. That's around 8% of our total token allocation if we go on there. And we will attract a huge crowd. We will probably have to adopt half of the general token hype and pump strategy, which I'm very, very not really wanting to do. But yeah, that's a good draw and attraction to Binance. Most of my investors and the crowds, of course, want us to get on Binance early, but yeah, I have my reserves regarding that. Hope that answers your question, Monro.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mongrel. And Mikhail, you are up next. Yeah.
Hey guys,
Why, Mikhail?
Hi, Mikhail. Yeah.
so my question is, what are your plans to combat this issue like recent hack and running and secure the platform security?
I heard the how to handle security, but what's the first one? Pump and dump, you mean, or which one?
What are your plans to combat this issue like the recent hack and running and secure the platform security?
Oh, the recent insecurities and that's happening on certain platforms. Well, we have all our stuff audited, but does getting stuff audited means we are hack-proof or security-proof? And we will have our own in-house monitoring system where we all monitor in-house on-chain functions for irregularities. That's the experience from our CTO, Jem, who've developed the measurable data token before and have experiences over there. They have an in-house monitoring system to monitor on-chain activities. So we have both a preventive and responsive measure. But even with these security measures, such as the getting audited by Certic or other auditing firms, having our own in-house security systems, are we hack-proof? I wouldn't say anyone is hack-proof. So what developers and what people like us can do is to really look into compensation models and to find the right way to identify the problem to properly compensate in the events that a security breach and something happens, and to ensure that we communicate with the users that something wrong is happening, to snapshot and to identify what's the opportunity cost, what are our users losing, and make proper compensations either directly or via insurance policies such as Certic Shield, or via a shadow token, so to speak. One, in the case of our entire token gets hijacked somehow, we have another token ready to distribute via the snapshots back to our users, and to do it in a timely and efficient and fair manner. Is our goal. So yeah, I think we'll do what everything needs to be done. Getting audited, having our in-house security measures, having insurance. But ultimately, yeah, just be aware of the snapshots, get ready, look at the cases that's happening out there right now, and be safe as we can. I don't think anyone can provide an ideal answer to this to this getting hacked solution. We'll try our best, of course, to look for the best practice in the industry. But beyond that, we'll just have to buy insurance, and we'll just have to find ways to compensate our players and identify the problems quickly. Hope that answers your question, Mikkel.
Yeah, thanks, Frank.
Thanks, Mikkel.
Yeah, thanks, Miguel. And Puppy, you're next.
Okay, you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you, Puppy.
Yes.
Okay. Some of NFT games nowadays they can't balance their economy because of not enjoyable gameplay or boring. That's why many people just withdraw their tokens and the price of tokens go down and down. And my question is, do you think Aperion focus in gameplay rather than the tokenomics so that many streamers or influencers can support the game? And the last question is, do you think enjoyable gameplay is the key to the balance the economy? Thank you.
I certainly hope by looking at the game and the presentations and the AMAs that we do, that we present to you, that Aperion's core has always been game mechanics, storytelling, and the game itself. While tokenomics is more of a utility and function that surrounds around it, serving as a bonus to the gameplay and the stories that Aperion has to offer. So yes, Aperion focuses a lot on the gameplay. We are not built around tokenomics. We are built around core game mechanisms. But as for how to ensure that the users get their return, yes, we implement new ways to ensure that our NFTs and our tokens to be continued to be priced at certain levels, controlling demand and supply quite intensely, and to and put a lot of our efforts into marketing and user acquisition and creating new and supportive content and utility for the tokens itself. There are many other games we can partner with, social or casual games, and we can develop our own, quick and easy social game modes such as Monopoly, Real Lucky Wheels, and chess modes. These are all operational events that's prevalent in today's mobile gaming industry. And all these provide different incentives for users to return, to spend, and to help with the economy. And coupled with the franchising model, hopefully, the yes here.
Yes. My question is, can you please expand our knowledge about your roadmap this year and the future, and any
Yeah, sure.
updates on your research and development progress?
Sure. But Puppy, did I answer your questions, or did I?
Yeah.
Am I missing any point, Puppy?
Yeah, I just moved you to audience answer, but it's not your turn yet.
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah, sorry.
Hey, did I answer your
Yeah,
question?
Yes. My question is, can you expand our knowledge about your
Yes,
roadmap
yes.
this
Yeah,
year?
okay. I'll answer this. Sorry, I thought I haven't finished answering the previous question. But okay, yes, I can go on to the roadmap. So the roadmap this year is and you also said the R&D research, right? So do you want me to expand on the entire roadmap for you a little bit?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, well, let me tell you the entire roadmap. Provide a brief about that one. And so, okay, let me think where I should begin, because this is 6 years of roadmap, and I'll have to summarize it. Okay. Okay, so I'll start a little briefer. In 2016, the concept and prototype began. The team also got formed in 2016. We went through around 5 prototypes over 2.5 years' time. And around 2018, 2019, we arrived with this model, the card game simulation and the esports card-based battle. Before that, most of the prototype revolves around how to play the game simulation, what's doable, what's not, and we were really trying hard for the battle to take place on the planet, where the battle is more real-time strategy. But we failed. It's near impossible to do that on the mobile platform and remain competitive, because competition and PvP is one of the core elements to make games thrive. So we remodeled and we separated the battle and the god game simulation. And to arrive with this more esports driven model, if we can't do it over there in a seamless progression, we'll progress into what's going to last. And we think esports is a big content that's going to last. So we focus the battle on part to be esports. We're ready to go into development mode. And in 2019, at the end of that year. So we were doing a lot of studies into the games, doing early pre-productions and everything. And it's on the mobile game. But something never sits it right with us. The mobile game platforms, the freemium model is very limiting, and we didn't really like it. So our co-founder Orange suggested the push to blockchain in 2020, late 2020. Was quite skeptical in the beginning, but he pushed again in 2021 last year, and we looked. Because usually when Orange, our co-founder, insists on something, he's often right. And so we did. We took a look and we found it to be. We played a lot of XE and we think, oh wow, this technology is great, which we can build on. So we remodeled Aperion and added 2 more on-chain mechanics: the breeding and the reset mechanism, the planet reset mechanism, into the 2 gameplay. This is actually a 4-game core mechanic game that we're developing July last year in full production. And we're pretty prepared for this type of events. The development team and the game designers and the co-founders, besides me, have all been developing games all their lives, over 10 to 16, 20 years of experience. So we remodeled quickly into that, and we fiddled around with the 2-token model and then the 3-token model to arrive with what we have in the white paper designs today. And when we are ready, we had the demos, the pieces done using our old prototypes, and added some on-chain functions to polish it on the end, the on-chain elements, And then we released the website, the white paper, and proceeded to get pre-seed funding in December. And it ended quickly, and but at the same time, we also identified that we need to do more research, because the blockchain evolves super quickly, and having met the gaming guilds, YGGSCA and the IVC and the CRAS, I began to think differently of gaming guilds. In the beginning, I think most gaming guilds are just economic extractors. But after meeting them, after getting introduced around the scene, meeting more people, more investors, more gaming guilds, I turned from being afraid of gaming guilds to being super bullish on gaming guilds. And I am still learning to this day, as I meet more investors and their leaderships. And yes, we ended seed round and the pre-sales last month, and then we've raised quite a lot of money. And we're in private round right now, where I'm talking to a lot of giant Web2 developers and publishers to help with the roadmap. We're going to release our first core gameplay mechanic, the breeding element, in June. And then at the late June and early July, we will be looking into releasing our game demos to help support with the demand of the planet breeding, everything. And in July, the staking will go live, the NFT planet staking. This is a pretty new mechanic, which is designed over the recent events. And the planet staking will go live, giving more utility to the planets, because the token has been delayed, has been postponed. And in late July, we will have more live demos, more gameplay showings, leading up to our star sales and eventually our token sales, our token launch events. And then after the token launch, or maybe during the token launch or before, I'm still deciding on this one, we will go for the battle testing around Q3, between August or September. to allow players to test the battle mechanics of Aperion. The investors, the NFT holders, and gaming guilds that partner with us. So Avocadians will be in the process to test our games as well. And then with the testing and the streaming, we will prepare for the official launch, which is in Q4, probably targeting October, to launch the full single player game. Well, not the full, but the single player cycle, where you have your planet, your dungeons, the arenas, and the planet cycles to be on. And then it would lead up to the first giant esports events in Q1, hosted by Hash, both offline and online, offline in Korea, and it will be streamed massively across the crowds. And it will also lead to the opening introduction of our third token. Upon game launch, the second token will be released. The third token will be released with this giant esports events. And once we have the 3 tokens going, we'll begin developing the franchise elements, the animation series and shorts to be coupled with the first giant expansions of Aperion, and move on to the equity fundraising phase, where we raise funds for the main company holding the licenses of Aperion, the trademarks, which we all already have. And by the way, we already have merchandise being under development right now, as do plushie dolls and action figures and merchandise. And it will be all launched subsequently together with the esports events, the streaming, and the plushie doll will be out early actually. And then we will move on to the equity fundraising round, where we introduce Aperion to a more global scale to the Web2 crowds, Netflix series, movies, web series, and beyond. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that's great. Thank you for sharing with us.
Well, my pleasure. All right, Chip, let's get the next person. Dean Knit.
Hey Frank.
Hi, Dean.
Yeah, so I've got 2 questions for you. So being a project that started in 2016, do you mind telling us some of the setbacks or challenges you've encountered as a team or as an individual? And secondly, do you intend to integrate virtual reality with the game Aperion?
Virtual reality, maybe not so soon. We have talked with many virtual reality companies actually, but if we integrate virtual reality, it will probably be a metaverse interoperability function where we work with other games, not doing it ourselves, most likely. As for the first part of the question, that's a book I can write. But the first main function challenge is funding. Developing games is a really costly and challenging process. You need a lot of funds, and you need a lot of talent, and sometimes depending on the location and the funding and everything, it's hard. We have a lot of funding, but not a lot of developers around our geographic location would like to create something new. Most developers are afraid and knows that the development process takes time and takes a lot of money and is very grueling and testing. So they tend, and by challenging new genres, new stories, new game mechanics, the development costs don't just double or triple. It grows exponentially. We have spent around 100 million Hong Kong dollars. That's around 12 million US dollars into the development of Aperion and SRM. Well, much of it is into Aperion, of course. But it's getting the funds is tough. I sourced most of it from my own pocket and my family's savings. And so if you ask me, I'm not going to rug pull this, man. I'm the most heavily invested individual with me and my family as deep in the skin of the game, and you can bet your ass I'm going to try to publish this game out and turn this into a franchise. But anyway, funding has been a great challenge. funding in Hong Kong, we are Hong Kong developers, is extremely tough. People don't really invest in games in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is a traditional financial and a real estate center, so nobody really comes here to invest in game developers. But there have been great talent hidden around Hong Kong all this time. It's just they never had the opportunity to create something great. So all the talent went to China, to Taiwan, Japan, Korea to seek further opportunities. But they're really great. If you look at our game teaser trailers, it's all done by our local Hong Kong team. And the quality, I can't say it's AAA, but it's really unique and it's not something you can find anywhere. And I'm very glad and grateful that I found this team. And you have to wait sometimes to get the right talents in here. I've been waiting for 3 years to get the right talents in the team. And the greatest challenge is communication for all game development. Game development encompasses 3 very different and very competing industries. Not competing, but very, very different mindsets. You got the game programmers, you got game designers, you got marketers, you got artists. And my God, let me tell you the most heavy, mind-blowing thing about this is. I was from the financial world. The financial worlds and management consulting and larger conglomerate companies that I see, the communication efficiency is actually quite highly efficient because everyone runs on a more financial mindset. There's just the numbers that you're going after. So everything is quite easy when you communicate over there. And most people who work in these financial institutions follow a very strict financial mindset, scientific mindset, I'd say. But in game industry, artists, game designers, programmers, producers, they are all very artistic individuals. And to have artistic individuals collaborate, being Asians that are really tend to be more reserved and not outspoken. The culture, our upbringing, our education is not one that is as collaborative as the Western cultures, where people are open to talk, to different ways to collaborate. Most Chinese and Asian education systems revolve around, I tell you this, you follow, and that's right. And you just have to really memorize the stuff and do what the teachers and the others are told. Similar to what a lot of Japanese game models are like. Japanese games follow a very strict top-down approach, while Western games follow a more collaborative approach. And when you try to go for a collaborative approach to innovate, to have ideas bring together, but you have a whole bunch of artists at your disposal. Oh my God, it's quite hard to get the communication going. It takes 3 years. This is the general statistics I tell you. After having been in management consulting and private equity for 10 years, it takes 3 years for human relationships to develop, to know each other. Not just companies, but families, not families, but friends, loved ones, and relationships. To really know someone, to grow from getting to know each other to getting a bit more familiar. Familiarity breeds contempt. After the contempt comes understanding. And after understanding comes really synergy. And this is a 3-year process. And good luck to a lot of the new teams out there developing this synergy. And we've went through all this amount of arguments, heated arguments, screaming, and the development process is all part of the journey and the process. I remember every single argument the co-founders had, I had with the team members, the amount of mistakes I've made as a gamer looking into game development. Oh my God, I'm so naive back then. And I'm still naive, actually. I'm still a spitballing machine over here without considering the actual feelings of artists and everyone. But still, it takes a lot of practice and time to talk to artists the right way. People are very fragile, and artists are even more fragile, and you have to find the right way to motivate them to have them work and with others. It's a long and grueling test, and it's not easy at all. But it is so damned fun and happy. Let's say doing something you love, and it can be grueling and testing, but it's rewarding at the end. We've been in here for 6 years. The funding, the developers, and the burnout is actually super little. Of the original 35 employees, I think only 3 to 5 left. I think only 3 left really for Aperion. And everyone here is here believing in this dream without seeing a light of the day, without getting a raise until recently, and without even knowing that when their products can really be published. And it's the biggest challenge, and it takes the most dedicated individuals and committed individuals to bring this product to this day. And I'm very grateful today to see that Aperion in 4 months' time have raised over $20 million and have gained enough attention and gained enough recognition. But it's only just the beginning. But the moment we show the world what we have been creating, the response and the amount of response we get is very encouraging. It brings tears to many eyes in the company, and but yes, it's just the beginning, and we're ready to do something even greater. And yeah, there's a lot more. I write a lot of these challenges and supposed to be writing these challenges in the Road to Aperion in our Discord servers channel. But with the reason, ever since I began fundraising in crypto, my God, it's insane. Fundraising in crypto is like Kickstarter on drugs, and it's even crazier than my private equity life. I was an investor back in the days. I think I see over 10 to 11 projects per day, and my top end record was around 12 meetings in one day, 12 1-hour meetings in one day. Crypto topped that, and by a large amount. I had 14 meetings in one day, 14 1-hour meetings in one day in the second week of seed round. And then by the end of the seed round, the longest one was around 28 meetings in the span of 35 hours. And so yeah, but it's incredible seeing a lot of these people that's so interested in Aperion, and seeing the community grow with the crowds I have today. They are all very supportive, and they are all very they all love Aperion almost as much as I do. It's really motivating. So yeah, that's a bit of what these 6 years, the challenges and the experiences is. There's a lot more, but yeah, that's the general gist. Hope that answers your question, Dinet.
Yeah, thanks very much. You went through a lot, but you guys will come out stronger. Thanks.
Mhm. Any other questions, Chip? Did I put everyone to sleep? Have I put everyone to sleep yet? I see the numbers of the listeners begin to dwindle. I think I'm testing their patience. We're hitting a 1.5 hour mark. Oh wait, this is the 2 hour mark. We started at 8:30. Oh my, it's been 2.5 hours. 2 hours and 10 minutes. Do you guys want to catch a break? Or do we continue on? How many more questions do we have, Chip? Oh no, Chip is asleep as well. I'm Abdul. I think it's your turn if you want to speak up. Oh no, everybody's asleep. I guess you guys should call it a night. Or is it Dane, or is it Ama Abdul? I
Hi,
think
can
Chip's
you?
mic. Oh yes, hi Chip.
I think there's a problem with the Discord, not my mic, because every
Okay.
time I didn't do anything and then it just disconnected as well. Yeah. Anyway, I think we have our last question from Amakdu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dane. But I'm Abdul. I don't
Um.
think is responding.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe Dane.
I think we have our. I think there's someone raising their hands in the crowd. Yeah. John. Yeah, John, you are up next.
Oh, hi, John. You have our avatar. You're muted, John.
Hi, John.
Hello.
Hi. Oh, you're muted again.
Hello.
Yes, hi, John. I can hear you, John. You can speak.
So, my question is, does Aperion have a voting process for community for future development of your project? Who are
Yeah. The DAO part of the equation. I love answering this question because I don't believe in some DAOs and how most DAOs are structured. We want to work with the community on the roadmaps, but I think the traditional DAOs with the governance tokens, voting and process is not exactly the true spirit of what a DAO should entail. A DAO should entail the community, the votes of what's to put the votes in the hands of people that are genuinely concerned about the community. That's the ultimate DAO. But the DAO takes into account the votes everyone have, and it's calculated by a token. Wouldn't the majority voters be the company itself, or the investors, or the whales? Where's the voice of the community in that? Maybe in the long roadmap when everything, all the investors are gone and the team is releasing everything out. Then the community gets to decide. But will the development team still be interested in developing the games? And if they have this little stake in the game? This is a question I never find truly satisfactory with the idea of DAOs being a token. What I think truly entails a DAO, at least for Aperion, should calculate the value of all asset holders. Well, it's hard to calculate the actual value, but we can do it in weights, where we incorporate almost all asset holders, governance token holders, regularity holders, animal holders, planet holders, and dude apostle holders. Even those who may just be playing the game for free, community members who don't hold any assets. I think everyone should be able to vote and to carry some weight in the game. And of course, governance tokens holders carry a heavier weight. But ultimately, if we truly want to go for the true spirit of a DAO of democracy, I think it takes the entire community to vote together. And I come up with this because I've played a lot of games in my life, and I've seen whales and companies and developers, well, mostly whales, if you ask me. So I'm a super whale myself. I pay a lot of money during playing mobile games. But I speed through all the content, jumping from one game to another. I make some friends, and some of those friends stay there, but I don't. I move on from one game to another, seeking enjoyment and thrills from one to another. But after many years, when I look back into the communities, I still keep in contact with the friends I made. And a lot of them are still playing that game. And the people who stay are usually the people who don't pay a single dime in those games. And I was wondering, wow, how do they stay there? But then I realized that they have a true love for the franchise. Sometimes the ones who have the most interest and the love for a game and a project is not necessarily the ones who invest the most, but the people who really enjoy the game story itself. So I think those voices matter, and their votes should matter too. So just using the tokens and biracial doesn't sound exactly fair to me. So we'll still try to find a model where everyone can vote and listen to the voices. But honestly, a DAO cannot really achieve that. It's just the developers and the founders who can put themselves into the crowds, listening to the users in the forums and the crowds, and identify those and seek those out. This is the true spirit of what a DAO could only be entailed. A bit of everything. But on the other end, of course, the governance tokens holders should hold a heavier weight. But in my mind, the governance tokens should really focus on proposals. governance tokens holders should who have they're much invested in every wish should be the ones proposing the changes that they want to see and made, while the voting takes the entire community to vote and ensure. This will be the ultimate form of a DAO that I hope to achieve in the beginning for the community at least, and then to the game direction. But honestly, I am not very sure if a game developed, especially a franchise model as big as Aperion, should ultimately be rested purely in the hands of a DAO, because there are roadmaps, there are plans, and game users, their interests, and the ultimate value of the projects don't always align in the really, really long and extended roadmaps. So I'll be very careful when it comes to these proposals and voting processes. I'll keep in mind the interest and the ideas and what's creating the love for Aperion. But it will still take a lot of practice and a lot of listening to the community to decide what ultimately entails a DAO and how the voting is fair for everyone, not just token holders. So yeah, that's my answer for a DAO, John. Yes, they will be. Oh, I forgot to answer the
Thank
call
you.
question. They will be taking most of the voting processes will include development direction. That's more controllable by our hands. How we spend the treasury around 98% is for the community. How they want to spend it is of course up to the community, as long as the distribution is fair. And and uh, and the game development directions. They're interesting things that we can hold. We'll do the initial proposals before the game launches and everything. I really want to stick with my first proposal that I mentioned in the previous AMA. That the first vote is quite a heavy one. Should the dudes die on screen? That's a tough question for a DAO, I tell you. But yeah, I think I'll stick with that one and see what the response are. So yes, Johnny, John, that's the short part of the question.
Yeah, thanks, John. And our last question will be from Miraso. Elden
Mira.
Miraso.
Hi,
Hmm.
good evening po.
I'm
Um,
Russell.
Hi po. There are numerous new NFT games on the market that promise a
Mm.
long-term and stable economy. But we've
Mm.
seen and experienced that many of them only last a month or two. So my
Mm-hmm.
question is, what is your long-term and sustainable strategy or plan for making this game a success?
By staying away from the idea of play to earn on a daily basis, and telling most people that Aperion is a game that actually involves time commitment, and the extraction of resources is not easy in Aperion. Aperion is a fun game to play. It's a play and earn experiences, and the ultimate to earn efficiently in Aperion involves risks and rewards and time investments and teamed gameplay skills and dedication. Um, our reset, our play to earn mechanisms run on a weekly schedule, and we are very stingy with the rewards. While the main rewards, the main gameplay rules, all rewarded via regularity, but regularity at the same time is pretty much part of the hardcore content that's hard to create and complete. So so it's a much more longer and extended roadmap for Aperion, because the minting the supplies is very limited, while demand will be monitored pretty high. And on the other hand, we have staking and liquidity pool staking interesting new staking mechanisms, not just one old boring staking mechanisms. Staking mechanisms are actually part of the operational events running on a bi-weekly or a monthly basis, and providing different types of rewards and incentives for players to stake and use their tokens actually. And we will have them for all three of them, either in staking or liquidity pools, staking pools, to reward different types of tokens or rewards out there. And so yeah, this is a bit of everything. There's the so these are the two main mechanics, if you ask me: the staking and the the ability to earn. We think earn is should not be promoted on a daily basis in a game of our scale. If they follow the typical mobile game economy, where a game lasts around typically 3 months to 6 months, then yes, they can do that. They can launch a game, raise money, raise funds, pre-sale, game out, everyone earns their hearts out, and then they move on to develop another game, reskin that game, and develop it into another game with a fresh new story, fresh new artwork, and same old gameplay mechanisms, and keep churning these games out. These will be the play-to-earn games out there, and the players and economies will they will get smart. They will jump from one to another. Those who seek to earn, but it's a proven model in mobile games and many other games. So yeah, there are those games, and there are other games like Aperion, where earning is not as much as other games that sell play to earn. The $100 a day or 50 or 100. We don't do that. We want to reward the players, and we want to prove to the players that the Aperion prices and the NFT prices will move slower but higher gradually with time. And we will do that by controlling the supply and demand of both the tokens and the NFTs. But still, yeah, can't really. I don't think this can satisfactorily answer your questions until the actual game is out, until you see for yourself the tokens and dynamics that we're going to implement. But yeah, as with all projects on Web3, the ones with the least rewards are the ones that are trying to stay the longest and be clear and be sustainable. Those that give out more rewards, great rewards on a daily basis, are the ones that tend to be a little less stable. This choice is up to the players to decide, up to the users and investors to decide. As for me, having my years of experience, usually it's a bit of everything. Don't invest everything in a single game or a single project. Have long-term investments and have short-term investments. And really space out your investments. Don't put everything in one basket. Not everything into one crypto project, and not even everything into the crypto as well. There's stuff in real life, man, and just be careful with your investments. I know it's very attractive here in the crypto, the DeFi projects, the yields and everything, but have some savings, have some control and moderation in the way you guys invest. Sorry I deviated, but I hope that answers your question, Marisol.
Yes, well, thank you.
Yeah, so thanks, Marisol. So I guess that's it. Yeah. Thanks, Frank, for joining us today.
Oh, thank you,
Really,
avocados.
yeah,
Avocadians,
yeah,
sorry, I keep calling you guys avocados. But yeah,
yeah,
thanks,
it's fine. Yeah,
avocadians.
and yeah, I like your answer because they are all you explain them in full, and yeah, I love it. And thank you for coming joining with us today. And I guess that's it. And
All right.
congratulations to all the winners,
Hello.
as I have in your in the channel I have mentioned all the winners. And yeah, so let's check out Apron socials as it has been pinned in the message. Yeah, so I guess
Sir
that's it.
Frank.
Thanks, Frank.
Oh, hi, Dane. Oh, thank you, Chip, and thank you, avocadians.
Can you check your DM? I sent my message.
Yeah, thank you,
Yes,
Sir Frank.
Dane. I can answer that in the DM, and feel free to DM me anything.
Thank you. I don't have a really
Yeah, cool.
stable connection right now.
Bye bye.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well,
Thank
bye
you
guys.
for
I can stay here for a little bit if Chip doesn't mind.
Yeah, sure.
To answer something. Yeah, okay. Well, you can go off. I'll answer some of the questions, and maybe I'll answer the DM question here as well, Dane. And then I'll proceed to answer some of the questions in the Aperion chat as well. But yeah, have a good night and sleep early, guys. It's getting late, and but I'll stay here to answer a few more questions. Yes. Okay. So Dane asked me that focusing on efforts, having a unique formula in the game, which is auto battle, card game mechanics. How will you implement the balance of the game mechanics, having a lot of different variations in game meta? Would it be that the games will implement it with same rosters that the planets would mix and match to see fit their gameplay, or we implement it in another way that would use their own NFT to compete, which would render the balance of game in the pay-to-win kind of formula in such sense? Oh, that's a very deep question and a great question, Dane. I'm sorry if I didn't have time to answer earlier, as my internet connection is kind of unstable. I answer in regards, sir, and thank you for your time. Oh, well, and a very well-mannered person, Dane. Um, well, good to meet you, sir. And so, yes,
Good to meet you too.
in terms of the very last part, at least, Aperion hosts two kinds of battles. One is esports, and the other is a full pay-to-win site. The typical GVG and PvP arenas are very will feature more pay-to-win elements, as all the relics, the levels, and the decks are calculated based on the power of your planet, the total followers. On the esports side, um, it will be limited. All the levels and the skills will be set in the same levels, and in order to participate in the esports, all you need is 4 apostles and a planet, and then you can participate over there. So there's a bit of mix for every type of pay-to-win players. And in the future, when with more seasons, more season cards and decks and everything released out, as some may seem more powerful than the others, we will host different types of tournaments on the game map. There'll be different portals, different arenas, different events, different mini tournaments that impose limitations on either new season cards or certain type of cards or different types of a game rules to provide different sets to ensure that different sets of cards can have their day to shine as well. But of course, one of the main thing we do is that the reason we only release new seasons once a year or twice a year is because we want to focus on game balancing to ensure that the game cards and everything is fun to play and all game styles have their unique advantages. And being a game card mechanism is actually great because the random mechanics is actually really um uh well, keeps things fresh and keeps people on their toes. And every mechanism that we put together are actually syner- quite have a quite high synergy chance. We've That's where the 5 years of prototypes, the 2 years of prototypes, and all that been. We chose the elements strategically. The overall elements have strategic value in the choices and everything. The action gameplay has a play, but it is less emphasized. The movement of the avatars can be pretty slow in the beginning, and to allow for more strategy gameplay and auto battlers. So it's a really mix of everything, really. And we will spend a lot of time doing battle tests. That is the whole reason we're releasing battle tests early. We're not releasing other parts of the game early. We are really protective of the source material. Everything is new. Everything is entirely novel. And we've seen the ability with which other games can copy games. So even as complex as Aperion, that's susceptible to copycats in the future. But to avoid and combat copycats is by releasing more materials at once instead of releasing them in phases, maybe doing alphas here, alphas there, bit by bit. This is probably the most easy and inviting way for people to copy our game. So for us, we will not release too much info. We will release what we want. The breeding mechanism and the battle mechanism, these two needs to be publicly tested. The other ones we'll do ourselves. We have our own quality assurance firms and our own testers in other countries to help us with more professional advice. So yeah, that's pretty much how we are going to do the balancing game mechanics and meta in different variations. And we have some interesting game rules actually, but one that are initiated by the players actually, and by the community. You'll see. There are different rifts and celestial objects in the universe. You can click on them and find out interesting new rules or tournaments or events that you can participate in. And everyone will have their own events or ways to play the game. I hope that answers that question, Dane. Yeah, let me see. Well, still 62 of you listening here. Go to sleep, guys. I'll just hang around here looking at Aperion messages. Starting from top, maybe. I don't know how far I have to scroll. I see my dudes are here chatting it up. So it making it harder for me to find the questions. Go to sleep, dudes. You don't have to accompany me here. Go have fun somewhere. Go practice your esports games. I think we're gonna do a lot more of these esports tournaments and games. So get your LOL and Valorant practices in. And yeah, as for the avocados, oh sorry, I keep calling you guys avocados, but oh my god, there's so many questions. As for the avocados, for the avocadians and all the gaming guests we partner with, we are going to host a giant cup event with different esports games, and every gaming guild will have to form one or two teams to participate in our esports events. It's a long-running event. I'm thinking about a quite active reward, in the six figures, and we'll have all the gaming guilds competing each other in this Aperion hosted cup. Of course, we'll also have our own team, and yeah, practice your your esports games, guys. Don't need to stay here and accompany me. So, looking at the very first question. Oh, the channel created yesterday. The concept of the game is amazing and cool. Thank you. What is the inspiration behind the game? Answered that. Layman's term answered that. Burning the layman term. I didn't answer that. The layman term is shape your planet, roam your planet, fight some battles, and go back and groom your planet. Oh, hi guys. Someone's speaking. Fortunate. Hi, Fortunate. Can I help you?
What's the meaning of this? Because
Hi, Fortunate. Do you realize you're on stage and speaking?
yeah, can I speak now?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, my phone. Sorry, just so sorry. My phone is just misbehaving.
It's okay.
So
I can hear you.
yeah, I hope you can hear me. So I just want to ask about the game mechanics. Yeah, most of these games, like when they produce it, then yes, they're supposed to be allocated to some kind of tokens. Like for example, I'm just going to make use of the Axe Infinity having the SLP and the AXX as their major token. Then also, I just want to ask, like in terms of the game, are we going to have some other features that will be coming out in the futures? You don't have to you might not have to try to bring out all the features of the games right now. Yeah, there might be some you are keeping on for the future. So while time goes on, and the way crypto space is as time goes on, because these days they are already adding in NFTs into play to earn games, just like in Step N. So do you have any features that you won't be adding now, or you have not talked about now that you plan on adding maybe in the next quarter or maybe in the future to come?
So any additional features that I have not mentioned will be added in the future. Well,
Yes.
well, yeah, there are plans, but obviously we don't really want to share too much. But yeah, there's the physical gaming parts. There's there's also a feature that we planned each year, because basically every giant expansion pack, there's 12 expansion packs. If you look at Aperon's game map, it's the universe made up of 12 mythology galaxies. Each new mythology galaxy features a new expansion game mode, one that is focused on alliance gameplay. And there are many different alliance game modes and future features that we can incorporate into the game. So yeah, there are plans for these different features to keep the game fresh, or to give new, fresh utility to the governance tokens, or to the planet NFTs. But always, these will be all operational and limited time events most of the times, because the core main utility remains: planet aging, planet breeding, and relic creation, while the additional utilities will come and go in different operational events. Depending on the popularity, some will stay, but most of them will be limited time events and different features. But for the real innovative features, like the ones that just asked right now, are sort of virtual reality and all those stuff, we will most likely only work with third parties to in a more metaverse model where we allow our Planet NFTs to participate in their games and go over there. Not exactly beneficial for us to branch out into too many when there are already other metaverse ready developers we can work together with.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much
Well,
for clearing. Yeah, I say thank
oh,
you very much for clearing the space for me.
oh, thank you for your time and staying here for such a long time, Fortunate.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, well, nice to meet you, and have a
Nice
good
to meet you,
night.
sir. No, take care. It's actually afternoon over here. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, cool. Well, have a good
Yeah,
Wednesday, I guess.
yeah.
Okay, I'll go back to some of the questions in the channels and see if I see any ones that I haven't answered. Burning mechanisms. Yeah, I talked about burning mechanisms. Blockchain utilized for this game. We're going on Polygon first. We're actually talking with the Binance side chain, and but yeah, Polygon is most likely the choice. We chose Polygon because it's Ethereum. Ethereum has the largest users, the safest bet for the giant project this size. So we go there. As for the gas fees and the speed, of course, we don't go directly on Ethereum. We go on an EVM. And the choice really only comes down to Polygon and Immutable X. One is more front end oriented, and one is more back end. Front end always wins. The UI UX always wins, and so we chose Polygon. Immutable is more advantageous when you need to when you need to create a significantly huge amount of NFTs. But that's not what we're trying to go for in Aperion. We're always going for quality over quantity, and we don't want to mass produce any NFTs to inflate or really to overpopulate or cause over supply of our NFTs and tokens. We don't mind being having more demand than supply. I think it's good to have more demand than supply so that we can price our stuff better. So yeah, we chose Polygon and yeah, NDR. Cool. And I think I answered some of this one. Well, there are multiple questions. Okay, most hundred games you see gonna be based on two tokens. Third token answer that. I saw that there are plans to create future collaboration of creators and companies. Don't worry to find about it. Uh, the new galaxies. Is there a plan to create future collaborations with creators and companies for the creation of new galaxies? Yes, some of our investors that invested in a lot of money actually get to decide one of the celestial objects, not galaxies, look like. Celestial objects have different functions. That could be metaverse related functions. That could be other DeFi or GameFi project related functions, trading mechanisms. It's up to them to decide, and you can tap on them in the game map and see. An important feature issue is the possibility to test it before investing. So there's some based on seed planets that are given to avocados among these guilds, right? Yes. What requirements must users meet to obtain one of these planets? It's up to the gaming guilds. The seed planets are free to play planets, and probably to help onboard scholars. In Aperion, you'll need one planet to play. You go to the lobby. If you have a planet, you can play. If you don't have a planet, you can either buy one or join one of the gaming guilds. The gaming guilds will have quotas themselves to onboard users. If there's a lot of users, we will give out seed planets, and the seed planets will allow them to onboard users, but it's still a limited amount. And so probably for the new joiners into the gaming guilds to attract new members, new scholars, we give out these seed planets. and so this is used to attract the more new users. We hope to help onboard new users for the gaming guild and for our game, and the gaming guilds will of course provide support and education as to how to play the game. Everyone is very streamer friendly. You'll find tons of streaming content online to help you guide you through the games, and the gaming guilds will be there with guild support. The restrictions is that you can't sell them, you can't breed them. The reset mechanism is on a week, but the seed planets is on 2 weeks. It's more on experiencing the gameplay. This is the minimal amount of experience for them to earn, but it wouldn't be too much. It's just to get them to participate, to experience, more like a demo version of Aperion. Still capable to earn, of course, and are capable to compete in the arenas, actually, and even in the esports events. But yeah, it's also limited, and nobody gets to get what. There needs to be a control of supply and demand to maintain demand higher. There's a theme that has been kept secret: Cliffs of Veritas. In Avocado, we are very curious. Oh, could you give us some alpha about this mysterious element of the game? We promise not to tell anyone outside of our guild. The Cliff of Veritas is involved with operational events. Third-party games or other casual games that we implement into Aperion on sometimes maybe on a special occasion or festival where players can tap in, earn some rewards, play some casual games, or do some funny staking mechanisms to really try something else, something new. And most of them will be also have social dynamics behind them, where you can join as a team, play as a team, meet new friends, and all of that sort. That's the Cliff of Veritas. I didn't tell others about that, actually. I don't mind. And I bet a lot of dudes that's still listening to me can listen to them. How can planets be minted and grow? You breed them to mint them. To grow, you play on them. Or to wait. The growth phase of Aperion of the planets comes in two, by age and by gameplay. By aging, it's just waiting, consuming other planets, or orbiting around other stars. By playing, you can actually shape and groom the planet, the civilizations, to fine-tune the stats and everything. But ultimately, you can also reset them. The resetting doesn't reset the age. The age continues. The reset is called Armageddon. It's like flooding the Earth. The Earth still ages, and but everything is gone. The people, the buildings, the plants, and everything is reset. And the age has no limit. The planets don't die out. It could be 1 billion, 10 billion, gazillion years old, but highly doubt anyone could last that long. Probably Earth. The day the Earth stands still is the day Aperion planets stop aging. Does there exist a process of breeding two planets into one? Oh, you breed two. You use two to breed a third one, but you can consume the planet's age. So that's 2 into 1. That's planet aging. Chrono merging. For the table offspring, we have a mechanism, but we will release them in the Medium articles closer when the breeding events happens. And we'll also release these breeding and traits in phases, having witnessed the recent events and how things are going to unfold. We are going to do things more carefully and in phases. So the planet breeding can be more heavily monitored to avoid overpopulation and to ensure that our simulation models are right, especially after we modified the breeding to only cost tickets and not tokens. And the new NFT staking mechanism has to come into play. So we're building a new simulation model based on the NFT only and with the planet staking gameplay. So yeah, things will be a little different. It doesn't affect the overall pipeline. The game development and the game launch is the same dates, but the little events in between will slightly be changed to ensure we can stay on the safe side. A lot of sentiment in the coming 2 months will be quite a bumpy and turbulent markets. So we'll try to do what's safest for the project and to avoid and manage expectations, so to speak. Oh, this is a good question, Andy Arrogant. So what's the partnership between Avocado DAO? Well, Avocado made one of their biggest investments in Aperion, and Aperion is going to feature on Avocado Galaxy. Avocado Constellation. Avocado Constellation entails 12 stars. The stars is needed to form an alliance. You need at least one star NFT, that's the land of Aperion actually, to form an alliance. And having more stars in the same constellation allows you to form one of the most powerful alliances in Aperion. And yes, Avocado have the stars there. And they have a whole set of tokens for the game for the guild to grow these assets and to spend them and to reward them. And they also have a whole bunch of planets that they bought, and to help them grow these planets into a large amount of planets upon game launch, so the scholars can get to play. Not every scholar, I think, but most of the scholars can get to play. Those who are interested in Aperion, and it also features unique cosmetics. There'll be special avocado cosmetics and name tags in the game, so that if you log in from the avocado IDs and everything, you get to get the avocado item, and you'll be branded as an avocado. As an avocado. We'll see what Brandon wants to name these tags and cosmetics. And sophisticated noob. I like this name. From 15 elements, 4 of them is pure, and the rest is a mix, right? Yep. Will there be any updates in the future where you're going to add more elements? Highly not likely. It's possible, but not likely in the plans right now. The 4 elements is really quite complex and enough for breeding gameplay to last 6 to 8 years already, so we were good with that. If we didn't release the purest, it would probably last 25 years or more. But yeah, we can print off everything out there. Can I know the initial listing price for each of the token? We're going to let the initial price be decided by the market. For the governance tokens, the initial listing price is around 0.15, 150 million. And fully diluted valuation. And as for the other tokens, it will be decided by the market. Those are the play-to-earn tokens. The demo for the game will be released. Only the battle demo will be released in July and Q3. The live showing of the game and demos will begin after the breeding event starts, so that's also between late June and early July. And then we will move on to the battle testing. The simulation will release gameplay demos and snippets, but yeah, keeping that one pretty close to the chest. Hades. Is the token's value going to be hold or expand solely on the supply? Is it going to be inflated? I mean, these tokens are currently available. I mean, it will be available in the future. How rapidly will the new ones be released? For the governance token, you can refer to the tokenomics, the white paper. There's a tokenomics session regarding the emission rates of the governance supply. For the other 2 tokens, it's up to the players. It's both player minted and generated. Since you mentioned a 3rd token to promote high-level gameplay, one can game better alliances. How can your game theory look in terms of spending versus holding cash flows? That's an incorrect use of game theory. But in the high-level gameplay, it runs after operational cycles, where the players trigger the auction events, because the new season contents is actually all player driven. All alliance contents is all player driven, and the spending and holding is like this. You'll start in the beginning of seasons, just the start of the first gameplay. You'll build your planets, you build the fireball decks, you compete in the arenas, and then you join alliance events. When you join alliance events, you will compete them. You will successfully mint some tokens if you complete the challenges. Every time an alliance event is completed, the galaxy progresses a little more. Once certain events have been completed a certain amount of times, the new season content unlocks. When the new season content unlocks, there will be a trigger of a new spending cycle, because that's when a new cycle happens. Every player will have to use the third token to bid and auction on, or the gaming guilds have to auction on these new items. Getting their hands on the newest and latest items lets them dominate both the games and the initial breeding cycles early, which triggers utilization of both Aperos and Anima. And so before this happens, most people can either stake or sell their third tokens until they see that the progression is almost made and that the new content is releasing. The players always have the advantage because the players are the ones triggering these events, these auctions. And also, on the other end, is the operational cycles. Operational means seasonal esports events and GVG tournaments. Every time these events happen, players usually significantly level up. They'll be buying planets off the marketplace, spending APRs, or spending our Plato and token anima to age their planets, or to buy off other relics on the planet. The spending cycles is modeled after the operational events, these tournaments and GVG events that's going to happen. So people can stake or buy according to these cycles and when the need happens. Staking also often provide other in-game item bonuses that provide advantages for the guild and for gameplay and the pay-to-win side of the events. So there's a bit of everything in here. And investors can always try to capitalize on it, but can investors know as first hand and as fast as the gaming guilds as the players? Probably not. Atom. As we all know, recent bear markets has significant impact on people's emotions, finances, and investment decisions. Indeed. What small steps have you taken to make your community more active? We have actually been hosting a durative easing events. We are giving out almost 5,000 US dollars, USDC worth of tokens to help people take their minds off of these days, playing mini games every night, and earn, play and earn. And this is the community events actually, but I'd say it's not very well received because I guess people are really hurt and they just want to take a break and step away from crypto, which is actually a great choice. I think sometimes when people are really hurt financially or in a deep situation, it's always better to take a break instead of diving your head further in trying to recover your losses and making really rash and hasty decisions, losing the last of your money or making loans to recover that. Sometimes you have to recognize your loss. Sometimes you just have to step away, calm down, refresh, and look at things from a different angle. Diving further in a tilted manner, just like when you play poker when you're on a losing streak, it's not the best decision. But we will help out the community. We will hold events, play to run events and everything to keep people engaged. We will still offer more USDC rewards in the coming weeks, but we'll probably pace it out a little further because we were hosting consecutive game nights with 1,000 US dollar rewards. Even this event, this AMA has $1,000 because we want to help out. But yeah, I think sometimes it's maybe it's not just about handing out the money. Sometimes people just need a good break. and having so many consecutive events really taxes on the team and takes a little away from the development pipeline. So yeah, handling community needs more finesse, so to speak. I'll stay another 30 more minutes and answer some questions. Feel free to go sleep. Well, still 46 people listening here. You guys are crazy. I guys just forgot to press exit. And I've fallen asleep already. Don't I need to always have to put the planet on a star planet to orbit? No. You can just play without orbiting a star. Or can a game play without the planet and the planetary orbit of the sun? Yes, you can play without planetary orbit. But it wouldn't be fun playing alone. Come on. So I do not see much marketing efforts from Aperion. Indeed. What is the marketing plan for Aperion to attract new gamers after official launch? No, our marketing efforts will come to, around TGE, the main push, and to keep the token pricing as part of the marketing efforts. And these days, we will still do some marketing effort, but to grow a more stronger following and a loyal crowds around Aperion. And the mass adoption comes when the gameplay begins showing, the streaming showing, when the token is about to launch. Then we will introduce more marketing elements. But still, we won't go full force until official game launch because, yeah, all the utility and everything comes when the official game launches. But if you look at our investment partners, we have almost every single marketing partner Stepan has. Morningstar, M6, Market Across, and quite a lot of actually crypto native investors that's also in there. And we have the biggest marketers and KOLs ready to show for everyone. But no, we're gonna take our time. It's the opportune moments. You don't push everything out immediately and acquire users too rapidly. We've learned it the hard way. We tried to go for harder numbers and bigger numbers, but that wasn't fruitful. A lot of the numbers are bloated and it's just airdrop bot campaigns and everyone and people are just here trying to grind rewards, and the crowds we attract are just grinders, extractors, flippers, paper hands. I think we only want them. We don't even ever want them, but we will have a time when we go there, when we have the token launch, when we have more utility to handle the crowds. So we're going for a different marketing approach. We're not going as loud and bangy as other games. We will go for a more slower and a more stable approach to find the right crowds that truly love Aperion and like Aperion, and will be here to form the backbone. And we will reward them with long-term rewards, and they will have all the staking rewards early. Scrolling down. Scrolling down. Answered most of the questions. How many people are currently working on the development protocol? For 50 people in-house, and another 50, 60 actually outsourced. Of the 60 outsourced, 50 of them is on artwork outsourced. We're doing breeding in 3D. That's a real crazy decision, and in the quality of our art style. This is the most biggest bottleneck and pain point of Aperion. Our artists and our quality, we want to ensure the quality is there. And our artists are the art lead. There's 3 of them. They are all crazy talented individuals, but they're very protective of what they want to show the world. And they normally, when you go to game development and mass production, the art director has to find ways to delegate their workload and power. But these 3 crazy dudes just can't. When it's as much as a baby to them as it is to me, I understand. You want to ensure that it's the best. And even more so now, because we are the biggest game this year. The funds raised, we've raised 20 million. Big Time only raised 10, and yeah, there's a lot to live up to, and then there's a lot of responsibility. We want to ensure we live up to the expectations and we keep up with the quality. And so they got even more protective of what they go. So even when I employed over 50 people, artists, for them to read, they're still nitpicking, they're still refining the details of each and every artwork that they can get their hands on before it gets released outside. So, but this is exactly this type of dedication that brings Aperion's artwork and flavor to this level. And we have a lot of game developers, CEO of PUBG, Vivendi, giant Southeast Asian and Taiwanese gaming firms, all saying the artwork is incredible. So yeah, we'll stick with that. Can you share some info about staking? Yeah, I'll share that. What makes Aperion unique with other NFT games? Everything. Every single thing. How long does a celestial conjunction takes place? Around 2 weeks. The offspring takes a week to grow, to hatch from the egg, so to speak. And if you breed with a grandparent or an uncle, it's still possible, but the cooldown will be extended a little longer. We want to keep the idea that 3 planets is enough to infinitely grow, but we'll handle the cooldowns a little longer, and even more so now because we really want to be careful with the supply and demand. It's always easier to start being tougher. If you look at crypto unicorns, they set the amounts ridiculously high in the beginning, like 6 hours of wait. But only when you set it so high that you can, as a developer, it's easier to set expectations the wrong way first, because every adjustment you make afterwards gets the player happier. If we set it too player friendly in the beginning, every time we tighten the control, like XC, how the XC tightened the control for the breeding price, there's going to be a huge amount of thought going on out there, and it's going to be insane. So always be a bit more tougher on the designs and loosen it up later, so that the crowds see it as goodwill instead of developers trying to earn more money from you guys. So it's honestly, it takes time testing. Crypto is so young to games, and game industry itself is not that old either. It's just 30 years of game development industry. The game industry only has been around 30 years old, or 30-ish. So yeah, give them time and room to test. That's crypto. Everything speeds up as well. Be a little patient. Patience wins in crypto, in contrary to what most people believe. How does a celestial conjunction take place? Oh, are you guys sleepy? Oh, only 40 of you remaining. 40 hardcore and fit officials. Let me take a look. Oh my, most of them are from my server. Come on, guys, go to sleep. And a few AG crazy people. Let me take a good look at these names that are so crazy. I bet I'll be seeing more of you guys. Oh, Ezio is still here. Yeah. Tom. 哇，豪哥你还在啊？我在说英语，你听得懂吗？看不到我的名字也在。Oh my god！我要把你们全都变成爹地了吧？Are you guys daddy yet？啊，豪哥，算了。You're from my server and you're not a daddy yet. Give me a DM, and I'll turn you into a daddy right away. And if you're already a daddy, I'm just gonna turn you into the wrangler.
Can I become mum?
Oh,
Is there a mummy room?
Yes, Chip. Is there a mummy?
Is there a
Originally,
mummy
we were actually we were trying to come up with an acronym because Steady is Dynamic Apeiron Disciples. It's that
I see.
initiative. But for
I
mummy,
thought it's daddy,
originally
mommy.
every daddy has to report to a mummy, but or a wifey or a mistress. But we can't find a good name acronym to come with. So yeah, maybe we're just a granddaddy that's coming up. But yeah, we really wanted
Yeah,
to find an acronym for mummy. Oh my God, Chip, you're still here, Chippy.
yeah. I'm hearing what you're saying. Yeah. While arranging the winner list for the AMA and the game night and everything. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Well, efficiency, awesome, Chip.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I won't say anything bad about Brandon. uh,
No worries. Yeah.
uh,
You are really good, like it's the first time that a speaker that stays so long in our Discord to explain about our question to talk to us, and yeah,
yeah,
you are super
I
great
love
and
to. There's two things. One is that Aperion is really a really complex game. Board games are very hard to get across, and it takes time to tell everyone. And on the other side is I love Avocado. Brandon is if I tell you my views on gaming girls, we have 22, but I see 3 to 5 every day, and I've seen so many gaming girls, and there's over 20,000 gaming girls today. But I think I've only seen around maybe close to 1,000 now. But Avocado is on a different level. You guys run on a play to earn scholar model. Not a lot of gaming guilds I partner with run on this model because I don't really like this model. Uh, Most of the ones that run here and now in my cap table is from the YGG crowds. But Avocado is in because and I like Avocado in because you guys have a really strong community. Typically, most play to earn gaming guilds, scholarship gaming guilds, they don't have a strong community like Avocado. Brandon has done something truly unique and amazing here with you guys, and the amount of partners and the insights Brandon have is is incredible. And I even invited him to be an advisor of Apron because he I've met many leaders in my life. I was in McKinsey, I was in private equity, I was in Scythe, I was in the biggest management consulting company in this world. I was in one of the most successful and one of the biggest Chinese private equity funds. It's not Chinese based, but it's in China. And I've seen US leaders, Chinese leaders, I've seen everything. And Brandon, together with my co-founder Orange, is two of the people I've met that's really unique and are great leaders. And so yeah, I see avocado in a new light. And when I talk to avocadians and I look at the questions you guys ask and the way you guys handle yourselves and play around chats, it's very different. This is what makes me believe in gaming guilds and communities. These are the communities that will last even in these tough times, even in the future. And Brandon is very protective of you guys. He went through one of the most longest due diligence process, bargaining, negotiating, introducing new people to me, and he really takes his time to identify investments opportunities, not just as based on dreams or monetary value. He takes into account everything. In crypto investment in these seed rounds, I see different fields. I see people focusing on VC mentality, investing in projects only based on valuation, on roadmaps, and whether they can get onto nicer deals. And there are those who build on pure passion, that they love the blockchain, they love Web3, or they just love Aperion, or they are here to stay. But Brandon is a very good mix of both worlds. That is very passionate and here to stay for Web3, but at the same time, he has the qualities of a good VC investor, looking at the numbers, looking at what makes sense, and takes into account everything. So yeah, you guys are in pretty good hands, and I'm sure I will help as much as I can to ensure that Avocado remains at the top and will continue to thrive together with some of the other seed round investors. Guildfly is also great. Actually, I also love Kit and the Guildfly team. These guys, I think most of my connections in Web3 has been introduced by actually Guildfly and Avocado, the strongest ones. and they make really good recommendations actually, and I'm grateful to have met these two teams, and there are many other teams as well. There's Polemos, Ancient Aids, there's YGGSEA and IVC. These guys are all very OG and they're very helpful, and I would love to recommend them to any other games that I partner with or in the future that are coming up. These guys truly know a lot, and they are invested by other giants, so they know who to pick and who are really the ones that's hands on. And so yeah, that's a great thing about I like about Cameroon. So I don't mind staying here for a long time to get things through, to ensure that you guys know what choice Brendan made and to help around. Anyway,
Yeah,
continuing.
he speaks very high of Aperion too, like the game night, right? I like we were hosting the game night with other guilds, for example Huga and um the Axie Infinity India. But then he
Mm-hmm.
said, "Well, let me introduce you to Aperion. We can have a game night with them." And yeah, and then here we are. So we had a game night with you all, and I think it's great. The game night went well, and yeah, everyone was having
Would
fun.
have one ran a little better if the first games were a little off. We actually have a total of 180 participants, if I'm not mistaken. Was it game one, game two, game three? Yeah, we have over 150 participants, but actually we didn't have enough server rooms, and we separated the crowds. It was a shame, but it's okay. There'll be more game nights in the future, and I'm
Yeah,
sure they'll. I'm pretty dead set
yeah.
to grab Brendan with me to the fiery pits of hell or heaven, whatever awaits. Yeah, he's an advisor to Apron, and
Yeah, but it's cool too. Yeah, right, Brandon, right? Yeah, he listens to our opinion. He's super good as a
I
leader,
know.
and yeah, I think you are too. You are one
Oh,
of
well,
them leaders
I
too.
hope
Yeah,
I hope so. Still learning, still learning. It's actually easier. It's always easier to be on the buy side. I tell you, when I was a private equity investor, I can be the very judgy asshole to judge on other people and projects. It's easier. But when you're on the sell side, selling your own project, your own dreams, it's a different mentality. But well, it's good to see your work being fruitful, and experiences do pay off. So yeah, see how things turn out.
yeah. That's great. Anyway, I have to go now because I still haven't
Go
bathed
ahead.
yet, and I kind of
I'll just
smell it.
I don't
Okay.
have to know that, but it's good to know, Chip. Well, yeah, I'll just stay another 15 minutes answering some more questions, and I'll go too. I think there's only around how many people left? 42. Oh, there's still
42.
42. Okay, well, stay a little longer to answer a few more questions.
Just want to say it's really nice talking to you tonight. Yeah, and it's really
Mhm.
informative.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
Chip. You have been a very great host. I'm still trying to
thank
find a host for Apeiron. It's not easy, so to speak. Let me try to find the questions that for people still here, such as Raphael. What makes Apeiron unique with other NFT games? From Raphael. If you ask me, it's the team. What makes a game unique? What makes a community unique is always the people. It's what truly stands out. Um, a lot of our developers actually are not AAA developers. They've been in the game industry forever. They've developed alongside co-developed by other AAA games, but they are tough as snails, I tell you. Hong Kong developers don't get funding, almost zero funding, and and you know, a lot of you are from Asia. The mentality typically revolves around game is a vice, game is bad for you. The game going into the game development industry is one of the worst choices a parent can imagine for their children, and playing games and everything. So the developers in Hong Kong who lack funding and everything, and they have the expertise to do something that earns more money, they don't. They stay here and develop games because they love games. it's actually easier for them to look for a job in marketing and the financial world and the real estate worlds to satisfy all that, but they did not. They stay here to develop games for passion. These are very strong and tough individuals, and you can see from Apron they are here to stay. And from the community end, the Apron community, well, if Brendan's words mean anything. Brendan told me the Apron community is one of the most strongest and diehard communities he's seen amongst many other NFT games. And so yeah, we have crazy developers and crazy dudes and community wranglers here and daddies over here, and they is what truly unique about Apron is the people. It's the people that I have shaped for you guys to play with. The 622 gaming guilds, they are all fun gamers that truly believe in Apron and truly believe in NFT games. They're here to stay. You can make friends. It's not just a bunch of other scholars you'll be playing with. It's real gamers, pro gamers, Web3 gamers, new gamers that all just want to enjoy Apron. This is the demographics you will be playing with. This is the truly unique thing about Apron. The gameplay and everything also very unique, but I'd say the people is the most unique blend that I've found for each and every one of you when you play Apperon. Although there's a social construction, is there like a chance that a special planet that can reproduce? There actually is, being a solitude people, but it's up for the players to find out and to discuss. A very low chance, I tell you, but there is. Try token innovation. I talked about that one. Hope that answers the question for you, Raphael. Take a look at the other people who's still listening. I don't want to answer several of your questions. No ways here. Did Jay answer ask any questions in that room chats? Nope, Jay is just here listening. Thank you for listening, Jay. And Jarek Brono. Let's see if he has any questions in the chats. Oh, no questions. So just subtly listening on everything I'm saying. We'll see. No questions either. Well, let me scroll to the bottom and see who else is here and answer those questions at the bottom. So, from my company, new web scene is very unique and strong. Oh, thank you, Elite Sniper. Hi, Hin. Are you enjoying recording my AMA again? Thank you. Thanks, Fortunate. Thank you for staying here, guys. I really should spend this time confirming the roadmaps, but I really want to pay my respects to Brendan and Avocado, so I really want to stay here and answer as much as I can. Record-breaking AMA. Time record-breaking AMA. Yeah, 3-hour AMAs is like bread and butter to me. I need to break the record. Did I break the record? We started at 8:30, 9, 10, 11. We broke the record. This is a 3.5-hour AMA. Congrats, Avocado. You guys broke my top end of the records. Well, thank you for your kind words, Elite Sniper. Daddy Brendan note. I'm gonna turn him into a sugar daddy over here as well. Any questions from these guys? You guys are just chit-chatting. Well, with a lot of fun chatters. The biggest challenge you are facing right now, artwork. Artwork is the biggest. Well, actually, if you ask, well, yeah, artwork is more so than the current crypto environment. If you ask me, even more so than remodeling my roadmap, and even more so than creating this new planet staking mechanism that we're creating. These are not challenges. These are problems that we can solve easily. But it's the artwork problem, and the main artwork problem is, yeah, it's those three guys. It's just they. No matter how many people we employ, we have to find. It's just we have to find an individual that can work together with these three at their speed and at their quality. Oh my god, that's really hard. But hopefully we'll find one day. We're posting job ads. We're finding people, and that's that. Everything else, all the situations, the economic situations, the sinks, the tokens, the roadmap, it's all an easy problem. The delays are here and there won't even last maybe at most a month or so, even if there is such a thing. And a month is easy to pass by. I mean, with a crazy community, tokens has yet to launch. The marketing effects is yet still here. The game is not out yet. We can afford that, and we can have other events to replace that and compensation methods regarding all that. But it comes down to the team. What team can I groom and shape? My biggest concern is that they will burn out, and I don't want to burn out my best talents. It's a tough business. It's the language barrier. That's one of the toughest. Asians, Chinese, language, English not being the first language, being significantly limits the ability, the amount of people they can reach. And even if they speak English, because English is not the first language for most people, its communication costs is very deep. And artists in general are not managers. They don't really like talking or interacting with people or teaching other people stuff. It's different here in Asia. I think a lot of you guys are Asian, and you should know that the cultures are different. Yeah, that's the toughest. Good night. Kumanasai. Kumanasai. Oh, Chikanomanasai. Good night. Also doing great and parental. Thank you. Thank you, Melcy. Goes to sleep, you guys. Change or upgrade the deck on your planet even after you're upgraded. Lloyd, that's a good question. Um, there are certain relics and assets that can do that, but mostly to buy the right deck is buying it right off the field, or to incorporate new to sell your planet and buy the right planet that's for the right rate. That's how physical gaming cards do it actually too. And so yeah, if you think about it, if we allowed that change to flexible, then nobody has any incentive to buy any more planets. So we can't really allow that um, for the gamers. Again, as much as I love the community, the game itself, in order to last, can't be too friendly to the community. It would destroy the ultimate game balance and roadmap, man. Let's see if there are any questions. Well, there's 3 minutes left until 12 over here in Hong Kong. And yeah, get some sleep, guys. I still have one more meeting at 1 a.m. tonight with another guy called Brendan. And let me take a look. I think he's a marketer recommended by one of our investment partners. Let me take a quick look. Yeah, this guy called Brendan, Block Brands. Let me see. It's KOL from Brendan Marketing. Didn't tell me which KOL channel he's from, but he's an active KOL manager. Let's Let's see if I can search the web. Oh. Well, I'll be meeting him in 1 hour. So some more work. Need to confirm the roadmaps. Indeed, Dane. As technology progress, hopefully, still people are people, Dane. And people still cling to their language and barriers and races, even in Web3 or anywhere. Let's see how the technology can progress. And yeah, once you get past the language barrier, they're actually great talent. Orange, our co-founder, is actually one of the greatest talents I've seen, but his English sucks. He can still speak it, but he is one that's has great ideas and a great mind. But he could have done much more great things, beating much more great people if they improved their English. But it's hard. It's just different kinds of people, I guess. Oh, okay, yeah, that's me who speaks a little better English because I watch too much South Park and Family Guy and Rick and Morty, and I can help translate his ideas into more layman
Oh,
terms, I guess. Oh, hi.
what's up, guys? I can't believe this AMA is still going on, man. I've been walking for about an hour and a half, and before that I was listening to it for over an hour.
Yeah, Marius. But yeah,
Anyway,
it's quite
uh,
insane.
yeah. Have you
Yeah, we're end again.
already talked about the apostles and what they give you, what you get for them? You know, I like
Oh
them
no,
very much.
not really. Oh yeah, people don't really know them right now. So
No?
let me help you get that out before I go. So yeah, before I go, let's talk about the apostles. The apostles on the OpenSea right now. If you follow the link in our community in our Discord, there's Origin Apostles of Aperion, and these apostles are the future pets that you bring along in combat. There's you can bring up to 4 pets to combat. These 4 pets are called apostles. They have each their own minion armies, and they each have their own skill decks as well to mix and merge with your main deck, your avatar, your planet's main deck, to fight and combat. And Marius, I think you should mute your mic a little bit. They're picking up your background noises. And these origin apostles that we feature can be obtained. Usually, the apostles are obtained in the dungeons. The deeper you go, the more powerful they are. But of course, these origin apostles are quite powerful, so gives you a pretty good jump start in the game. But the main attraction of these origin apostles is actually in the collection value. They get you straight directly onto the whitelist, and when you do staking in an Aperion, you can actually they get more rewards by holding the apostles. And there's also merchandise. To get the plushie doll, you need 4 apostles to participate in the events. To get more future merchandise, you need more apostles. And the apostles themselves, if you manage to collect all 12, then there's a really big secret hidden reward over there. There's actually a hidden 13th apostle that the zombie club is supposed to host, but I really have to chase them on that one. If they're not doing it, I think I'll host it myself with my own zombie club token fans. And so yeah, there's a bit of everything. And yeah, if you want to get your hands on the apostle now is a good time. The planet pricing did not drop at all during the lunar events, but I think the apostle prices have dropped quite a bit because most people don't really notice the value of these apostles. Let me take a look at the prices right now. I think I should buy an additional set if the prices are decent. But yeah, I don't think it's a good time for any people to buy. Nobody is in a good buying mood. But exactly, That's the buying mood I should be in, if you ask me. I like to buy on pessimism, then sell on optimism. Let me take a quick look at the apostles. Prices have dropped quite a bit. Good price. I think I'll buy several ones off the marketplace right now. Cool.
Yeah, I was
And
thinking of making a third collection.
I think I'm gonna get the set right now. It's a good price. Okay, well, anyway, I shouldn't show my own NFTs like this. But yeah, well, thanks for having me, guys, and it's a pleasure meeting all of you. We'll have more AMAs and more events together until the game launch, and then we can all play together as well. Aperion is more than just a game. The community is fun. Take a look at our dudes and come have a chat and learn more about Aperion and earn some USDC if you have nothing better to do. We have a lot of game nights and events going on every week. Come check us out. Yep. Okay, I'll take my leave now. I'm gonna take a look if there's any other I want to see. Oh, there's a big one from Joe Holson. A question about pre-sale Aperion tokens. Is there anyone to answer? Sales to project that's in private sale is much lower price than the pre-sales. Sharply after the launch, and users remain at a loss for a long time. Do you have a solution for this? Yes. This is usually solved by the unlocks and vesting. The private investors get the longest unlocks, the private pre-seed and seed round. The community and everyone gets the shortest unlock, and so they can sell it pretty much. And the unlocks are there, publicly listed, and it's also in block by block actually, so they don't get to sell it that easily. They have to accumulate it and sell it, and every decision actually is a tough one. It's a little mental psychology in block by block vesting actually. But yeah, the community gets the earliest unlocks. The pricing they get, is it that much more advantageous? Not. We are not doing price pumps. We're not going for a copy launch. We're only going for a linear, pretty much almost 2 to 3 times from pre-seed. And the pre-seed holders are pretty much my friends and people I know from half my life. I chose them because they won't be selling out early, and they won't be selling in bulk, and they're all very wealthy individuals as well. And they're all here to be bullish on Aperion. So yeah, we're pretty good on that. What's the solution to control and prevent the fall in the prices after the release of tokens? To be honest, we will have some market makers and everything, and then we will have content releases, sustainable marketing events, and support for the token. But what happens in the events of a giant market dump when the times are worse? Well, I think we will utilize our resources to buy back certain tokens or to limit trades to a certain extent. But still, the market is the market. It's up to them. And if we try to engage too much in the fall, using our reserves and everything, we'll try to use as much as we can with reserves to buy back the tokens ourselves. But can't make promises like that. And any project who makes promises like that is probably being very irresponsible. Can project teams control the price? Actually, they can, but is the cost worth it? Do they have the right market teams and the market makers? Most teams try to control the price in the beginning, but most do not control it later. I guess it depends upon the team's roadmap and marketing efforts. But the market control is there to maintain the quality of the protocol. If I face the situation of Luna, I will probably burn a lot of the supply and buy back when the market cap is at the bottom and reform everything. But will I save the market midway when everyone is selling to exchange my treasury to bail out a few individuals, most likely the big ones because of their size? No, that's not the right way to handle the situation. When it hits bottom, buy back the entire market cap, and then work the way up. Once you control the entire supply again, you can market make the prices properly. But we have to do this fast and open. But they did not, which I don't know why, being that project big they have. So we'll see. Yeah, there's any new announcements. Information about private sales to project investors. Will it be available to users? All information in Aperion is probably the very first-hand information is in Discord. Probably the most first-hand information will be reserved by our OGs and our Discord users. If you ask me, or the gamers themselves that in the gaming guilds that trigger these stuff. And as for the information about the private sales, yeah. We will be announcing them. But as for the exact amounts and the price is there listed. The exact amount is there. But will we disclose? I think actually there's a clause in the agreements that prevent us from saying how much the investors invested. Unless the investors themselves want to say it, then that's okay. But we can't say it. Yeah. We participated in a project that sold in 35 launchpads, and now after 6 months we're still at a loss and the price has reached 1/10. Therefore, a solution should be considered for this issue, and users should be justified. This happens in many reputable projects. Project teams seem to care more about investors than people who buy in pre-sale. Well, that's what you get for getting into launchpads and IDOs. Launchpads are filled with people who are looking to pump and dump, to just get their hands on the tokens and flip. NFT alpha groups are there to flip NFTs. They look for launches, they grind whitelist, and they sell within the first 2 hours. If it's at a loss, they're at a loss, and they move on to another project, jumping from one project and token to another. In good times, in the previous half a year, it has been a great strategy, but that's reality. How do we filter out these paper hands from the diamond hands to have the paper hands not hurt the diamond hands? Well, if you look at what Aperion is trying to do, that's being careful with marketing and not doing too much over marketing when you don't have the right utilities and utensils, and to avoid having too many launch pads. We source our launch pads rather carefully, and we are likely not even going to use any launch pads if you ask me, but they are commitments I made. They are those launch pads who took a genuine interest in Aperion early, before Hash got in, before we did our 10 million round, before everything. And they helped us. And I promised them allocation, and I'm going to give them allocation. I'm not going to get all the names or the big names and then forget about them, even though they may have bad projects in the past. I think one needs to keep their promises. I even have some shadier investment firms here who invested in really, really crappy projects in the past, and some even had a reputation of dumping on their projects. I talked to them. I told them that's what everyone thinks, and this is what their image is. And some of them don't even get listed on the announcements I post, and they know it. But they chose to remain to stay. Either one, they are genuinely interested, they provided a lot of help, or two, they are generally here to make amends, to make changes. People make mistakes, funds make mistakes. They need to do what they need to do to survive, to make a name for themselves. It's okay. As long as they are willing to learn and listen, then I will let them in. But yeah, in general, we don't have a lot of launchpads. We don't really believe in launchpads or IDOs or decentralized exchanges. They're ridden with bots, trading bots, and it's tough to maintain a good price. You can do. I can pretty much do a couple launch and go on almost all launch pads with what I have in Aperion with my backing. But this will just get me a huge war chest. I can raise $100 million round and hug all that money and don't give a shit about the token price later, and say I'll rebuild it later. But come on, that's the old model. That's not a healthy model, and I don't want to burn the community or burn the late users or burn my own game development pipeline. I spent 6 years developing this game. I'm not going to go out there to spend 6 years of my life for a quick cash grab and run away. But there's lives over here. This is not just my projects. This is the project of over 13 individuals. 6 years of their life spent. We are going to model a different TGE, a different solution to launching our tokens and make it differently and market it differently as well. We will face scrutiny. People will think, oh my god, you have all the funding, you have the best project, why do your marketing suck? Why are you not getting on launch pads? Why are you not doing IEOs? IEOs are typically horrible. This is what crypto is. This is exactly why people don't take crypto seriously. They go on launch pads, the young and early teams with little to show, or with projects not as polished as the ones on Web3 and Web2, getting so much money right off the bat, getting so much attention. This is what happened to mobile games as well. So much money on simple, normal mobile games. So the AAA, the old time players despise this model. Hey, I'm playing Cyberpunk for $40, man. Why do I have to pay to win 10,000 US dollars per month in this crappy mobile game? It's what it takes. But the mobile model has proven it's a provable, sustainable model, more heavily monetizable model, and yeah, that's happening. But it's really up to the developers, the ones who really want to make a difference, to stay and try something different. I hope I am one, and if ever one day I'm not one, please slap me in the face and tell me I'm doing it wrong. Well, I guess that's just me, and we'll just see how things turn out. But yeah, we're not we have seen the projects out there. We've seen token resist all the way high, and then just outright, well, slow their development pace and everything. But to be honest, there is also the other side. Game development is no easy task. They raise all the money, but it takes time to develop a good game. So after the money, if you're intending to stay, if you're looking for a quick profit, then this is not what you should be expecting. You should be looking into what they are truly able to develop, and it will take time for them to develop. If you've seen enough of these trends, then either don't participate in it, or participate in it only when the game comes out, only when there's more for you to test. But if you ask me, can the games right now, can the audience take on all this liquidity, all this price and volumes? I highly doubt any project has that yet. To drive that mass adoption. I hope Aperion has that potential when we reach esports and everything, and we acquire users on that pace. But it is also exactly this reason that we are going to monitor our token prices steadily to market make the cap so it don't overshoot. And so when the user adoption happens, the prices can then adjust. And then when we have more users and when the technology is ready, we will ensure that the price remains organic, and we will put in the hard work and the resources into development of franchise and merchandising to ensure this turns into a proper project. And then we can show the world what NFT ownership and what blockchain technologies are capable of. But we need believers and holders in the economy who believe in the game and like the game, and they form the backbone. So yeah, it's a bit of everything. It's no easy task. There's no easy money in this world, man. And that's us. And that's the ultimate dream. But yeah, I do notice we are in crypto. It's like barking up the wrong tree, trying to preach patience and everything to to crypto crowds. Yeah, I will still find gems. Look at my crazy daddies who's been here with me. And yeah. And in our worst case scenario, I'm gonna sweep the freaking floor, man. We have enough money to sweep the floor. We have enough money to cover every whitelist price out there. And I've actually, well, don't tell too many people, I've purchased some planets back at whitelist pricing for people who actually look to flip Aperion. I say, dude, I already told you this is not for flipping. But if you're that hurt, sure, I'll buy it at the whitelist cost for you. And you can move on to flipping other NFTs. I don't mind that. Okay, well, sounds like world domination. There's a plan for world domination. But a little later. Not right now. Let's build a game first. Okay, well, thank you guys. Have a good night. And for you 36 champions that are still listening, you guys are crazy, man. I'm gonna remember your names. So let me screenshot this right here, right now, so I can tell everyone 3 years later that these are the crazy individuals who spent 3 hours and 40 and 50 minutes listening to me babbling and talking. Thank you guys. Have a good night. Hi.
Cheers. Good night, sir.
Good night, guys.